Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bloodhouse, the show where we talk about art house horror movies. I'm your host, Joshua Conkle.
And I'm your co-hostess with the mostest, Drusilla Adeline. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023.
Yay! Yes, in all honesty, it is New Year's Eve as we record this, but it's the afternoon, not... What if we were recording this at 11:30 p.m. on New Year's Eve?
The year changes in the middle of the episode.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you? What's going on?
I'm doing well. I've had a great time over the holidays, relaxing, recouping, working at my house, getting, cozy sweaters and new furniture and bringing all of my vintage posters out of storage and hanging things up on the wall, really making my place feel nice and cozy and lovely. Friends have been coming over to help out and make things just look really, really stupendous. So there's a whole nun wing of my house now. My staircase is all murder mystery themed.
Wow. You have so many posters. I can't believe you can curate to that level.
It's not just it is posters. I've got original posters up in the murder mystery section for The Last of Sheila. I have the Mondo We Buy Your Kids print of Murder on the Orient Express. I have original posters for Clue and things like that. But then I also have floating shelves, and I'm building props from Clue to sit on the floating shelves. So I've got a little candlestick. I'm gonna tie some rope into a little noose, and they're all just gonna live up there for the time being.
I love that.
I'm really excited. I'm really this is the first time I'm living alone, so I get to build a house top to bottom, and I get to do all the little theming and stuff I've always wanted to do. I'm really excited about it. Yeah. How have you been? How was your time in my hometown?
My time in Indianapolis was really wonderful. Very idyllic Christmas. I mean, beautiful neighborhoods full of houses from the 1800s covered in snow. It was just gorgeous. What a gorgeous town and time I had. Joel's family does all book Christmas because his mom was a librarian, and just to keep them from being materialistic, you're only allowed to give or get books, which
That's
I
incredible.
Of course love.
That's the family for you, kid.
I know. It was so cool. I loved it. I did see a movie at the KanKan Theater there, which is their newish and only not-for-profit art house cinema. And I know that this is a movie that you saw as well and loved as much as I did. It's the very bizarrely maligned Babylon.
Damien Chazelle's Babylon, a.k.a. Cinema!
I loved it.
I fucking loved it.
I loved it so much. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. I feel like your tweet made it seem like you were surprised to like it as much as you did. Yeah, I just loved it. And the people that I was with did not like it as much. They were both 3-star people. And I was like, this is 5 stars.
I went with 2 friends, and we'd all been all 3 of us were excited to see it from when the trailers dropped. We were like, this looks like fun. It's either going to be messy, terrible. It's going to be messy, brilliant. It's going to land somewhere in between. And we sat down, and 3 hours later, walked out of the theater, and I was on top of the world, cloud 9. I had been hooping and hollering and screaming and laughing and crying and had gone through the gauntlet, and I was inspired and motivated and moved and feeling my corniest self. And as soon as we walked out of the theater, we got all the way out, got to back to the concession stands to refill our sodas and stuff. And one of my friends was like, I have never felt held hostage by a movie before, and I was like, oh no, I'm alone in liking this. They enjoyed it, and they liked a lot about it. But yeah, again, 3 stars as much. They enjoyed it, and they liked parts, but there was a lot of parts and a lot of elements that they didn't care for, and it was very fun to see it in theaters and see people walk up and leave in certain sections. Yeah, especially near the end. There's a big sequence at the end that is very much a big sequence And I heard people grumbling to themselves as they left during that. I was like, you suck, man.
I loved it. I thought it was so beautiful, that sequence that you're talking about. I thought the whole movie was messy in a brilliant way, in a way where it stuck the landing. I loved all the gross aspects of it that people have been complaining about. There's lots of pooping and vomiting and farting and stuff like that, but in a brilliant way. I just loved it. I think the messiness of it is a feature, not a bug. I think it's beautiful chaos. It's so nice to see a big movie, like a big movie. I love movies about movies. I love movies about Hollywood, especially historic Hollywood. I absolutely just loved it. And how good is Margot Robbie in it? Like,
she's incredible.
Oh my God.
The role was originally supposed to be literally be Clara Bow, and it was supposed to be Emma Stone playing Clara Bow. And when Emma Stone dropped out, he rewrote the part entirely to be A, fictitious, and B, for Margot Robbie. And this part is for Margot Robbie. It's so good. No one else could have done it. It is so great.
I don't know how you feel about this movie. I feel like you're not a Tarantino person, but
I literally mentioned to my friends while we were leaving, and I was like, I can't believe that we finally got a better movie about Hollywood that's a period film starring Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie.
Well, I actually really love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I
strongly dislike it.
That's okay. But I was thinking, like, if I had like a Sunday where I had the flu or something, I would love to watch these movies back to back. Would
you go chronologically?
In order of when they are set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Babylon into Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I think I like the ending of Babylon a whole lot better than the ending of Hollywood.
I guess I would say that I do too. I don't have a problem with the end of Hollywood or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I know I don't want to spoil that movie, I guess, for anyone who hasn't seen it. I understand that people do, and I understand the reasons why. I just don't happen to feel that way myself.
I love Babylon. It really feels like if for some reason they let Eric von Stroheim, Steven Spielberg, John Waters, and Rainer Werner Fassbinder collaborate on a film together, it would be this. And there's parts of that I love, and there's parts of that I don't love, but the overall culmination of that is just something that is so delectable and chaotic and emotional and saccharine and tasty and weird that I can't not love every bit of it.
Similar to your shade with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I said to Joel afterward, I was like, it's like Baz Luhrmann, but good. Because I hate Baz Luhrmann movies, and this felt like a Baz Luhrmann movie that I liked. Yeah,
it really does. In ways that Damien Chazelle's never really done before, it does kind of have that post 90s Scorsese, Paul Thomas Anderson, Baz Luhrmann kind of style and energy to it.
It's compared to Boogie Nights a lot, I've seen.
But there's reason. It has a lot in common with Boogie Nights in some respects. I mean, it's Singing in the Rain meets Boogie Nights. What's not to love about that?
Absolutely.
I thought it was great. I loved it so much. I, again, don't think it is without flaws, and it is, there's parts of it that I like more than other parts of it, but as a whole, I think it's phenomenal. I think everyone should see it with your mom and dad in a big theater and have a big weird conversation after about piss kinks and Flea.
It feels like people are rooting against it, or in some ways celebrating its supposed failure, or not supposed, its actual failure in theaters. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I
feel like not a lot of people are seeing it.
Yeah.
I feel like it had a very bad marketing campaign. They spent a lot of their money making these really bad TikTok ads that
oh really? I didn't.
Everyone has hated. They're not good, and it's not the way to market this kind of movie. And, the people who did go to see it, mostly not everyone has enjoyed it the way that you and I have. Either because they think it's too corny and too melodramatic and too long, or they think it's too gross and too weird and too long.
Yeah.
And the middle of that Venn diagram is us who think all of that is great and perfect and lovely. And so people are just hearing, oh, it's corny, oh, it's gross, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, and then they don't want to go see it.
Mm.
Listeners, if you like The Wolf of Wall Street, if you like Boogie Nights, if you like Goodfellas, if you like The Aviator, if you like anything by Martin Scorsese, if you like anything by Baz Luhrmann, if you like anything like that, if you like old Hollywood, that's the other thing. A lot of people that I know that are professional film critics that are steeped in old Hollywood are hating this movie and decrying all the anachronisms throughout it.
Who
and
cares?
being like, it's not based on that person, it's based on this person. And like, it's like, that's the point. The point is that this is fiction. People are harping on the title as if this was a direct adaptation of Kenneth Anger's book, Hollywood Babylon. It is not. Right. Hollywood Babylon has been debunked, and it's great. It's a great read. It's a great coffee table book. This has nothing to do with Hollywood Babylon other than the spirit and the idea of the quote-unquote underbelly of Hollywood at the turn of sound.
Yeah.
And it's great. I don't know. I loved it.
Yeah.
It gave me the same feeling as going to the Academy Museum for the first time, where both experiences I was like, this is going to be schmaltzy and lame and not have a lot of substance to it. And both of them I walked out crying.
Yeah. Well,
at similar things, too.
You're like me in that, the closest thing that I have to a religion is movies. And with that comes Hollywood. I love Hollywood. I wouldn't be here if I didn't, and that to me is like divine, so I just love it.
Sequence in Babylon very much about the birth of sound and the like stumbling blocks of the birth of sound. And
it's
a lot of
such a good scene.
My friends afterwards were like, "That was too long. It was so grating. It was so long. That scene could have been cut the fuck down." And I was like, "No, I could have eaten that up so much more. Please, that's the shit I want to see." And another friend of mine was like, "What kind of scene were they even shooting with that? That's not real." I'm like, "Nope, that's a Dorothy Arzner movie.
Yeah,
that's a real movie."
Now, whenever Joel and I enter the room of the other one, we go, "Hello, college." Also, that movie is about my dog, Edie. That's her personality, is that character that Margot Robbie is playing.
Oh my god. Yes. Oh my god. Never let the party die.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was great. How it is the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We are wrapping up. Really quickly, would you like to talk about what, for you, were the most important movies of 2022? What were the big heavy hitters?
New movies?
Yeah. What were the what's your tops of 22?
Tops of 2022, horror and non-horror. I would put Tar in there. Mm-hmm. I would put Triangle of Sadness in there. I would put this movie Babylon in there. Nope, I would put in there. I would put in Barbarian. And then also ran like kind of runner up, I think, Watcher. That was 2022, right?
Yes, I did finally
really
watch
loved that. Oh yeah, you watched this week, right?
I thought it was only just okay.
Oh, okay. I really liked it. So those were probably my faves. What about you?
I have a nifty little letterbox list up.
Okay, here we go.
I've been keeping one all year. I'll do a cheeky little 11 just for Spinal Tap reasons, and because I feel bad if I don't have Guillermo del Toro on the list, because Pinocchio came in at number 11 for me. I loved it. It was great. But a big year. So Pinocchio, Nope, Pearl.
Oh,
Pearl was a big heavy hitter.
Yeah, agreed.
Glass Onion.
Oh my god, I'm forgetting. God, yes. Okay,
Tar.
Sorry. Yeah.
I think our lists are going to be almost identical.
Yeah, I only picked 5, so of course there's going to be things not on mine.
The Worst Person in the World.
Yes. Okay. See, I keep saying that's my number one, but then people say that's from 2021.
If you went to festivals in 2021, it got its theatrical release in 2022.
Thank you. Okay, so by that standard, that's my number one.
Yeah. Triangle of Sadness.
Mm-hmm.
The Banshees of Inisherin.
I haven't seen that yet, but very excited too.
You're going to love it. Crimes of the Future, which was my number one all year, and then it got dethroned twice by RRR.
Mm-hmm, loved.
And then my number one is Babylon. Like,
oh, I love that Babylon is your number one. I love that.
RRR is so good. And Crimes is so good. Like, it's, what a fucking year. And we still also had Moon Age Daydream, and See How They Run, and Wendell and Wild, and Barbarian, and Kimmy, and The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. And
wait, did you have Triangle of Sadness on your list?
Yes, I did.
Right? Oh,
yeah,
you did?
Triangle of Sadness was big old number 5.
Okay, great.
What a year.
That's a great list. What a good year. Honestly,
what a good year.
In horror and out of horror.
And we also, Bros came out this year, which was bad.
That was a movie.
That was a movie. They put film in a camera, and they had actors in front of it, and it was put into movie theaters. So let's give Billy Eichner a round of applause.
I have not seen it, but I made a short film this year with an actor who is in Bros, and I love him. So his name is Matt Wilkus. I'm very glad when he is doing things. He's very talented and handsome. That's all.
Talented and handsome people, that's the appeal of Bros.
Yeah.
Speaking of talented and handsome.
Yes. Let's get to it. So, this is a movie that has everything. It's got snakes, it's got sweaters, it's got paganism, it's got nuns, it's got snakes and ladders.
It's got vintage Jaguars. It's got the ideal erotic body according to the characters of the film, i.e. the trans body. It has like video grade quality nun rape sequences and snake crucifixions.
Yes, we are of course talking about the Ken Russell joint from 1988, Lair of the White Worm.
1, 2, 3, 4. John Dobson went a fishing once, fishing in the weir. He caught a fish upon his hook, he thought looked mighty queer. Now what the kind of fish it was, John Dobson couldn't tell. But he didn't like the look of it, so he threw it down a well. Now the worm got fat and growed an awful size, with great big teeth and a great big mouth and great big goggle eyes. And when at night it crawled about, looking for some booze, if it felt dry upon the road, it milked a dozen coos.
Ugh. How good is this movie? Talk about a 5-star movie. This is one.
I mean, from the gate, based on a story by Bram Stoker.
Yes.
And it owes a lot to Dracula, because the man knew how to write one book.
Yep.
And directed by Ken Russell at the tail end of his 80s period that gave us Altered States and Crimes of Fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And at the beginning of their careers, the leads are Hugh Grant and Peter Capaldi.
Both of whom are absolutely incredible in this. You also have Amanda Donoghue, who I read in the Wikipedia was meant to be Tilda Swinton. But she passed on it when reading the script. But I didn't even know Tilda Swinton was a thing in 1988, frankly.
Tilda was mostly doing Derek Jarman films in the 80s. And that would explain why Ken Russell wanted her.
Yeah. Where to begin? I guess I'll try to give you a little synopsis, listener. This is a folk horror movie, technically. As Drusilla mentioned, it is based on a Bram Stoker novel from 1911. And essentially, we are following a young archaeologist student played by Peter Capaldi, who is Scottish, but he's in rural England, where he's staying in a country inn with two adult daughters, whose parents have recently gone missing and are presumed, dead. Also, in the movie, this is hard to explain, actually. Hugh Grant plays a local aristocrat who owns all of the land, and he is the heir of a supposed knight who killed a dragon 1,000 years prior. At the start of the movie, our archaeologist has dug up on the farm the skull of what he thinks is a dinosaur, which precipitates all of the action of the movie. I'm just totally lost now. Help me out here, Drusilla. I've lost the plot.
That's about it. The only other thing is that, as you mentioned, some people have disappeared in the woods around this mysterious Gothic hack chateau that is typically left empty, and no one knows the owner of Temple House until this sleek 1960s Jaguar starts driving around, and they meet Sylvia.
Lady Sylvia Marsh, another aristocrat.
Who has the most incredible style in the goddamn world. Yeah. She's dressed like she's walking out of an Adam Ant video in every single frame. And she may or may not be some kind of snake vampire worshipping a giant snake god.
Spoiler alert, she is. I put on my most Lair of the White Worm sweater to join this recording, but I had to take it off because I was too hot. I'm drinking hot coffee, but it is like a forest green cowl neck sweater, and it really speaks to the aesthetic of this movie, which is that moment. This movie, fashion-wise, is very ahead of the time because I associate this look with the 90s and not the 80s. But there was a moment from late 80s to early 90s, pre-grunge, gangster rap, the aesthetics that defined the 90s, where the world was kind of looking for an aesthetic, and it seemed for a few years like it was Ireland. The aesthetic was slouchy sweaters, messy hair, bagpipe music for some reason,
Which
Circle of Friends with Minnie Driver. Yeah. It was forest green, it was burgundies, it was these earthy, naturalistic colors. It's the Cranberries sort of have that aesthetic as a band. So those are the waters that we're swimming in this movie, and it's delicious. It is folk horror as funneled through very highbrow 80s fashion, and I'm here for it. I mean, Amanda Donahue as Lady Sylvia Marsh is the baddest bitch there has ever been.
Anything ever.
Yeah, you can't top it.
She's so great. I mean, she somehow mixes high fashion elegance with severe dominatrix vibes while also performing snake dances anytime anyone blows any kind of musical instrument.
Yeah.
And it all works. And it's all great.
It all works. I mean, it's a comedy. I mean, Ken Russell always said that his movies are comedies and people didn't get it. This one is more bald-face a comedy than another movie we've covered in episode 1, The Devils, which is a lot harder to laugh at than this is.
The Devils is not devoid of giggles, let me just say
this. It's not at all, but it's also horrific in a way that this isn't really. This is a great movie, and it does actually have scares in it, but it's more
fun.
Obviously a comedy, I'd say.
We get a lot of visions and dream sequences in this movie, one of which
Straight out of The Devils.
One of which involves two women fighting on the floor while Hugh Grant raises a pen in his lap. And it's a very we know what's going on here kind of visual, and they keep cutting back to it to just hammer it home. They know what they're doing. It's super, super fun. The snake fang effects, it's not a sudden reveal of oh my god, vampire fangs and stuff. We haven't seen any indication of this being a very serious quality to some of these characters. until Lady Sylvia Marsh sees a crucifix on the wall and then quickly whips around fangs and like spits venom onto it in like one quick shot. And it's like, that's what we're doing now. We're running around yards with like giant like 5-inch fangs sticking out of our mouths. Got it.
Yeah.
That's the mood. Let's go.
So just to put things in order, I guess the first thing that really happens is our Angus, our Scottish archaeologist student, digs up this skull in the farm of Mary and Eve, who are two really hot early 20s something farm girls who run their parents' inn. And this is like this is rural England. So these are the kind of people that say me instead of my. You know what I mean? Like one of the first lines of the movie is Mary going, "Oh, me spotted dick," and running inside because her spotted dick, I guess, is burning. So these are like country people. And
Mary, played by Sammy Davis, who looks exactly like a 1980s Kate McKinnon.
Yes, very much. Also, like, for any Gen Xers who might be listening, Emily Valentine from Beverly Hills 90210, who you might know, her name is Christina Leese, and she's on Chucky now, which I haven't seen. But in the 90s, she was like the alt girl. She was the alt character on 90210 for like 2 years. She burned the parade float. Because she was mad at Brandon. the homecoming parade float she set on fire. So he digs up this skull. He thinks it's maybe a dinosaur skull. They're telling him it's a cow, but it's definitely not. And we learn that this was the site of a convent 1,000 years ago when the Romans were in this land. This used to be a place called Mercia. So that's what sets us up. But it's also the same day as the local lordship's annual party. This is Hugh Grant. So they go to Hugh Grant's mansion and they have a big celebration with the hottest band ever, sort of like Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Meets the Pogues. They're called the Tossers, which is even better. Playing the song of the Dampton Worm. And they have a giant worm puppet come out.
So
and it's
cool.
Beautiful. And Hugh Grant just casually, like, limp-wristedly, like, touches it with his sword, and it, like, falls into 2 pieces.
Yes, it splits in half. So this is a celebration that they have every year for the local people. The rich people do this, his family, I guess. And it's to celebrate the story that his great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather slew the local worm dragon. And,
It's based on a real folklore, actually.
Yes.
The Lambton worm from Durham in northeast England.
Yes.
And of course, they very quickly changed it to Dampton, which sounds nothing like Lambton. Don't you dare accuse them of anything else.
I feel like the Lambton worm is probably public domain by now. It's probably safe.
So two quick
Russell
things
said
about that, which is I really want to design a Dampton worm cocktail based on this movie that is like the electric green of the snake venom.
Yes.
I want to make this.
Could it have gummy worms inside of it? Like a gummy worm as a garnish?
Yes. Well, she like pours them like drinks with absinthe and stuff too. So I want to find a way of making a very like poisony kind of snake venom cocktail for this movie. I want to design this. The other thing is that the history of the Lambton worm, the year after this was made, this came out in 1988. In 1989, Anthony Schaefer, who made another incredible British folk horror movie, The Wicker Man, wrote an entire screenplay called The Loathsome Lambton Worm, intended to be a sequel to The Wicker Man.
Ooh.
About this legend.
Is that a coincidence?
It's a coincidence that it was being worked on at the same time, around the same time.
Yeah. That's what
it is not a coincidence that it didn't happen because this movie happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ken Russell had always wanted to do an adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula, and then somebody, I think the producer was like, well, why don't you just do a different Bram Stoker property? So this is the one. Although Ken Russell felt that the novel was pretty disappointing. It's like, he's like, your point. He was like, Bram Stoker made one story, and there's one good version, and then there are like copies of copies of copies, and this is one of the copy of a copy of a copy. So he really improved it in his own words, and part of that was by using the story of the Lambton Worm, incorporating that into this. So yeah, that's the history of it. We could talk about the score. The score is really surprising. It's like jazz music. It reminded me very much of Audrey Horne's theme in the show Twin Peaks. It's kind of got a David Lynch vibe
There's
about
a lot
it.
of Twin Peaks vibes to this movie too.
Yeah. Again, very ahead of its time aesthetically, It's not very 1988. It's very 1991, 1992. So it's a good ways ahead of its time.
Well, visually, it's just super, super gorgeous. And the cinematography is stunning. There's wonderful, wonderful use of wide-angle lenses throughout the movie that remind me so much of what the Coen brothers would eventually be doing in the late 80s and early 90s. That are really ahead of its time. And again, it's like Ken Russell's career changed and reformed multiple different times. For a long time, he was just doing these gorgeous, like, kind of queer melodramas, like Women in Love and The Music Lovers, and a lot of stuff that he was doing at the BBC. And then we get The Devils out of fucking nowhere the same year that he starts making his transition and doing his insane musicals. So we get The Boyfriend the same year as The Devils, and The Boyfriend is like a nearly 3-hour-long G-rated musical about people putting on a musical. And it's great, and it is like the polar opposite of The Devils. And they were made at the same time. And then that's when we get Tommy and Litzomania and Mahler, which there's a nod to Mahler in Lair of the White Worm. Hugh Grant has a book of on Gustav Mahler. Same with... So I feel like Lydia Tarr would appreciate that. I feel like she'd be a big fan of Lair of the White Worm. And then, again, like, after like a series of those, we get another inflection point in his career with Altered States, and in 1980, and he starts discovering like early video technology and using that to create these insane surreal sequences. And it's, a very like drastic visual degrade from 35 millimeter into these video sequences, but the way he's able to drop in and out effects and backgrounds to create these really like lavish, insane sequences that feel like ripped from the most rejected MTV music videos possible, shoved into these big art films, is incredible.
It's cool. It really works.
And it's probably on display best in Lair of the White Worm.
Yeah, and I did feel like it was cool to see some of the devils in here. So some of these sequences are nun orgies, basically. You get Roman soldiers having sex with nuns. You get the snake on the cross. They're straight out of the devils, but now in this sort of video art aesthetic. I maybe you're closer to like art snob circles than I am. Do you think that Ken? Do you think that Ken Russell gets his due? It seems to me that he's not considered quite up there in the pantheon of great directors with, your Scorsese's, your Lynch's, your like all of these art house people. Do you think that that's true? And if so, why not?
It's a real shame because he should be. He should be on the exact same plane as Ingmar Bergman and Agnes Varda and Jean-Luc Godard and the really challenging filmmakers of that era.
Like I would place him with like Brian De Palma, maybe, like those two.
Yes. I think, for my money, personally, and I'm, an American Midwesterner, I think Ken Russell is the most important cinematic voice to come out of England since Powell and Pressburger.
Wow. Okay.
By like a long shot. English filmmaking is incredible and amazing, and it's, a whole history of great film and great art that we don't acknowledge enough in America.
Mm-hmm.
But even within that, Ken Russell's not acknowledged enough as being truly the mad genius that he is. And, he had giant hits that are still giant hits. Like, Tommy will never not be probably his biggest film.
Yeah.
Because it's the Who movie.
It's the Who, yeah.
But it's a real shame because, there's, like, Women in Love is just, like, a straight-up art film. It has more to do with early David Lean films than it does with The Devils or Lair of the White Worm. And it's gorgeous and super powerful in its own right. And he has that string of movies that are only appreciated by the, like, we'll say art snob community. But those people, more often than not, don't want to go watch and appreciate The Devils and Altered States.
Yeah.
And so it's really odd because he has, like, a cult following from horror and genre communities for his 80s output. And then he has a cult following from music fans for his 70s output. And from 60s output for his, by his, kind of art snob fans. But it's all the same. It's all the same voice. It's the same ideas being flown through. And talking about the art of cinema and talking about art house, and it's the exact same conversation we were having about Babylon, is taking the beauty with the grotesque in equal measure, is like not looking at genre and accepting this all as like parts of a whole. I really wish that more Ken Russell movies would be made available in the US.
I really want to see horror again.
I really want to see a horror. It's getting a US Blu-ray release from Kino Lorber very soon.
Very excited for that. But
and of course, like, I will continue being the drum for another fucking 2 decades that we need The Devils on home video.
Yes, of course.
Obviously.
Our first episode, by the way, listener.
One of the greatest films of all time. Like, maybe the greatest film of all time. But, you can easily get Tommy, but it's really hard to get Mahler. Mahler's not on home video. It's really hard to get The Music Lovers. It's really hard to get Litzomania. It's really hard to get a lot of his really incredible films. I would love to see them made fully available. Put them all on the Criterion channel for streaming access. Let's get them on disc. But also, I would love for someone to program a retrospective of his work here in Los Angeles, separating them from genre ties. Put The Music Lovers on a double bill with Lair of the White Worm.
Yeah.
Play Rainbow or Horror or Salome's Last Dance with Women in Love. Play The Devils with The Boyfriend. Like, smash them together, because they're all Ken. Like, that's his thing.
Yeah.
You can't separate them.
I was trying to think of something to pair with this for a double feature, and I couldn't think of anything that's like this. I mean, it's so unusual and special.
It's really the use of camp and style and sexuality and humor and horror in this. It's really, really hard to find something that hits the same tone.
Yeah.
Which is why this is a hard movie to kind of sell people on. I had friends over last night, and I was kind of like, oh, I forgot to watch the movie for the podcast this week. Let's put on Lair of the White Worm. This will be fun. It's streaming on the Criterion channel. It's probably streaming on like 5 other places too, thankfully. Let's go put this on. One of my friends was crazy into it. Everything that happened, every new costume, every new set piece, every new hallucination, she was all over. My other friend, who is much more of an art snob, much more into art house cinema than genre cinema, was just like really put out and really just like had no clue what he was watching, didn't know how to process it, found it goofy and not in a like intentional way, thought it was just kind of like stupid. And it's really odd and a shame because this movie's fucking great. The closest thing that I could think to pair it with is from 1989, and also a kind of warped readaptation of an existing horror property. Steven Saidian's Dr. Caligari.
Oh, I've never seen the
89?
80s version of... Yeah, I've never seen the 80s version of that.
It has a very similar attitude towards sex and horror, a very similar attitude towards camp humor and the genre space, and an absolutely out of this world costume and set design and performance style that is very arch, that is very stylized. And you either love it or it's just not for you even remotely.
Yeah. So Ken Russell did show the actors scenes from Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest and said, that's how I want your performances to be. So they are over the top comic performances. They're very intentionally doing like British drawing room comedy. And it's great. It's so fabulous. The closest that I could think of for a pairing, by the way, was Cemetery Man, which we've also covered.
Cemetery Man would be very good with this.
It's not a perfect one-to-one, but it's like the best that I could do. To get back to the story of this movie, I guess, there is a break in the case of the missing parents. So our 4 young people, the Scotsman, the nobleman, and the 2 girls, are investigating that while we follow Lady Sylvia Marsh, the glamorous snake vampire woman, as she preys on a few victims. First, a policeman, which is a great scene, but then like a Cub Scout, I think. I don't know what he is. He's like
A Boy Scout.
He's a Boy Scout. He's like
who's
a
on his way
teenager.
to the youth hostel, and he cannot be more than 16 years old.
No, he's definitely underage, and it's a whole seduction sequence where she picks him up hitchhiking in the rain. She plays Snakes and Ladders with him, which is like the British version of Shoots and Ladders. She's wearing lingerie and thigh-high rubber boots. And then she takes him to a hot tub and like very clearly is going to fuck him, at least in his mind. And then she bites his dick. Her fangs come out and she bites his dick off camera. And that was the first like jump scare that I had in the movie. It really scared me. There's a lot about phalluses in this movie.
Oh, a surprise to no one. Ken Russell loves dick.
Loves a boner.
if anyone who hasn't seen his film Lithomania with Roger Daltrey as Franz Liszt, that movie, like every like column is a penis, every sword is a penis. Like the set and production design is just dick. It's I love him so much, and part of that is really, really strong. In this movie, they find cave drawings in a cave that is connected to where some people have disappeared, and that might be connected to Lady Sylvia's manor. They're like simple cave illustrations of like stick figure women with long phalluses. And Hugh Grant and Piero Capaldi find these, and they're both like, the ideal body, the peak pleasurable form. And it's like, okay, This is chaser time, guys. Trans women superiority. And at the end of it all, Lady Sylvia whips out the most monster, terrifying dildo this side of 7.
Pointed dildo.
That has to be screwed on and off.
Yes, it is a sort of strap-on pointed wooden dildo. It is for the ritual of sacrificing a virgin. One of the girls is presumed to be a virgin and is going to be fed to a giant snake, which is, I guess, spoiler alert, she is in a snake cult. There is a real white worm, and it's been alive all this time down there in those caverns. And
One of my favorite parts of this entire movie, and parts of Ken Russell's adaptation, and part of her performance, is the way that Lady Sylvia commits to the absolute bit of snakes. Everything in her life is snake related. Like her 60s Jaguar looks like a snake. She dresses and moves like a snake. She plays snakes and ladders. It literally reminds me of the line from Suspiria of people whose names start with the S are the names of snakes.
Yes, there's an iconic scene in this movie. It's on the key art for the movie, the cover art, where Hugh Grant decided he's going to lure her to his house. So he puts speakers all over his house and puts on snake charming music. And then she pops out of a basket like a snake. And one wonders why she was hanging out in a basket, but we'll let it go. Because presumably she's now charmed and hypnotized, and she starts to involuntarily dance her way over to his house. But it's like, what was she doing inside of a basket? Like,
when that scene happened, my friend who wasn't very into the movie, like, it cuts to that, and you just see a basket, and he was like, no, come on. And she, like, slithers out of it, and he was like, God fucking damn it. I was like, yeah,
it's so
that's
good.
where
How
we
could
are.
You feel that way. Imagine feeling that way about this scene. I cannot.
Lame.
Because I love it.
Heterosexuals, how do they do it? I don't know.
I don't know.
This movie is
confused.
just truly a gift. So, okay. It's Ken Russell. We have discussed the artistic merits and importance of Ken Russell as a filmmaker and as an artist.
Yeah.
That being said, with The Lair of the White Worm as one of his works of art, what is, for you, the interpretation and the meaning of The Lair of the White Worm as a piece of art?
Ooh, oh gosh, really putting me on the spot.
Yeah, bitch. Welcome to the show. We talk about movies, Josh. Do you remember this?
I mean, I know, but we never talk about movies. I mean, I think it's like about a like Christian fear of raw sexuality, right? So you've got the history of the convent versus this pagan snake cult. You've got the phallosis. You've got the, it's always it's a vampire movie on some level, right? So
very much so.
Always
people
about
get
the
turned
fear.
into these snake people, snake vampires.
They're always in some way about the fear of raw sexuality. So I guess that, if I'm being put on the spot, which I am.
I mean, I think I definitely agree, especially the way this movie ends. Spoiler alert, the ending of this movie. Lady Sylvia is fed to the large snake, who is then exploded. And Peter
Capaldi
style. Jaws style. And then Peter Capaldi brings a serum that he's had made to inject him and all of his friends to make sure that they don't get turned into these evil snake vampires. And he and Hugh Grant are going to go to the pub, get a beer, and check in on the girls to make sure they're all okay. And he gets a phone call from the hospital who's from a woman who's like, hey, by the way, I switched up those samples, so I didn't give you the snake antidote. But don't worry, like, there's no snakes this time of year. You should be fine. You shouldn't need that anyway.
Yeah.
And then he gets back into the car with Hugh Grant, and they both suddenly have, like, low-lit lighting. They're both looking very arch and very evil. And they're like, everything okay? Everything okay. Let's go. And then Hugh Grant puts his hand on Peter Capaldi's leg and pushes up his kilt. Why he does this unprompted is up to the imagination of the viewer, but he then reveals two insanely large bite marks on Peter Capaldi's leg, and then we cut straight to black and credits. And I love some gay, horny vampire snake boyfriends.
They're poisoned. They're both becoming vampires, and they're
in love.
Love it. They're in love. Love it.
I mean, so much of this movie is a fun, campy celebration of queerness, of trans bodies, of, raw sexuality and desire. And the humor of the movie is kind of the prudent fear of this thing.
Yeah.
She has a lovely speech at one point about why she hates, in her words, the false god, Jesus, and nuns. this
Yeah.
long rant about how your false god takes all of his virgin brides and locks them up in a convent where they masturbate themselves silly all night long and then whip themselves into a frenzy in the morning to get out the guilt. And I'm like, yep, that's why I love nuns, dude. Ken shares my kinks. Love you, sir.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, when you're talking about that, the god they worship is called Dionan or something like that. And then she has
Dionan.
a prayer to Dionan, thank you. She has a prayer to him that's like, Dionan, who was in the garden and gave us the gift of knowledge, for which the false god, banished him. So it's like implying that, it's sort of the inverse of Christianity, right? The knowledge that the snake gave Adam and Eve was a gift. All of these sorts of things. So yeah, that ties in directly to what you were talking about.
Knowledge, pleasure, intelligence are a gift. They're not something to be punished and feared of the way that Christianity teaches. It's an insanely anti-Christian film.
Yeah, surprise, surprise, Ken Russell has a beef with Christianity.
Still? 17 years later, and he still has... What's with that guy?
I was thinking, I mentioned it as a joke, but then I thought it would actually be a really good highbrow, lowbrow double bill with this. So lowbrow Tremors, highbrow Lair of the White Worm. That's a good double feature.
You're correct.
Yeah, and it's like they're both comedies, and they're both campy, and like, one of them has Reba.
I'm now just trying to imagine Reba and Lair of the White Worm.
She'd be great.
She'd be great. She'd fit right the fuck in.
Yeah, she's campy enough. We love Reba, Trish.
Trish.
All right, listen, let's play Have They Seen It, the game where we speculate wildly whether or not notable figures have seen this movie. I've mentioned this person earlier. Do you think that Tilda Swinton has seen Lair of the White Worm?
I don't think so. However, I like to imagine that a few years after this came out, or maybe even like a few decades later after Ken Russell died in the mid-2000s, she finally went back and watched it and was like, fuck, I should have done that. Damn it.
What a fool.
What a fool I was.
That's crazy pants.
I mean, she had to go do Edward II for Derek Jarman or whatever Derek Jarman was doing at the time, so...
Yeah, I mean, I love Derek Jarman, of course, but she's been in some real turds of movies, so I don't know why she couldn't do Lair of the White Worm, but okay, Tilda.
All right, honey. She would have done a lovely little snake dance. However, Amanda Donoghue is so great
Incredible.
that I'm pleased to have her. And hopefully Tilda can enjoy Amanda's performance all these years later. The one that I want to know, someone who has also adapted the great works of Bram Stoker, but we also know is a sex nerd because he hates other art house sexy movies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think enemy of this podcast, Francis Ford Coppola, has seen Lair of the White Worm?
First of all, he's not enemy of this podcast because
he hates
made Bram
Crash.
Stoker's
He might as
Dracula.
well be.
But we love Bram Stoker's Dracula. We'll do it eventually.
We do. It's one of my favorite films ever made. It's his best work.
So we
The
can't
Godfather
completely
be
hate him.
damned. Dracula's where it's
Although
at. Do you think
he
he
did
ever...
hate David Cronenberg's Crash because it was too horny.
That's what I'm saying.
I do think that he has seen this, and I don't think that this is too horny for him. I'm going to give him some credit.
Okay.
Because this is not a challenging kind of horny like Crash
it's fun,
is, right?
inviting horny.
It's fun, basically like Rocky Horror Picture Show horny, like
Yes,
celebratory, but innocent enough. So I'm going to say that he's seen this because he probably sees everything. And I think that he would like it. I think he's cool enough for this, actually. That's my hot take.
That's, you know what? Fair.
What do you think that he has seen this and likes it?
I feel like he hasn't seen it. However, I feel like Roman Coppola has seen it, and I feel like Roman Coppola loves it. Roman Coppola,
fair.
of course, the director, his son, and who worked on Bram Stoker's Dracula for his father, doing a lot of the special effects work.
Well, listen, while we're talking Coppola's, might as well throw Sophia in there. What do you think Sophia thinks?
Yeah, has Domino seen it? I do not think Sofia Coppola has seen this movie. I feel
Are you
like
a fan of Sofia Coppola?
I like her films well enough.
Yeah. Me too.
I like
That's how
Virgin
I feel.
Suicides and I like Marie Antoinette. I just feel like if Sofia Coppola was over at a friend's house, whether like as a teenager in the 80s or like nowadays, and she was having a bit of Coppola Vineyard wine with her friends, and someone was like, "Oh my God, Sophia, we're gonna put on a movie. Let's watch Lair of the White Worm." She would go, "Ugh, no," and like put on something else. That's my speculation.
Yeah.
I have a question. I have someone in mind.
Okay. Go.
The stars of this film, much bigger now than they were at the time. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In the 1980s, what was Hugh Grant doing other than trying to perfect his hair? What was Peter Capaldi doing?
Hair.
Yeah, it's so foppish in the best way.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Peter Capaldi was trying to perfect punk rock. Peter Capaldi was in the band The Dream Boys, who were pretty freaking great, along with another member who went on to be pretty freaking famous by this point in the future on American television. A little man named Craig Ferguson, who used to host The Late Late Show.
Yes.
Who we know is a fan of camp and insanity and robots. Do you think Craig Ferguson went to go see his old bandmate in Lair of the White Worm?
100%. I haven't thought of Craig Ferguson in a long time. But yeah, I like Craig Ferguson.
He's the only late night show host I've ever enjoyed.
Yeah, I'm searching myself, and I feel positively about him, which I didn't know how I felt about him. Yeah, I think he saw this. I think he liked it. For sure.
I feel like Craig Ferguson owns multiple copies of this movie and gives them out to friends at
Every
Christmas.
format, going back to VHS.
The only man on this earth to own a Betamax of Lair of the White Worm, Craig Ferguson. He just loves his friends, and he loves a good time.
Yeah. I think he would appreciate the aesthetic of this, too, and that song by the Tossers, I think he would like.
That song is fucking great.
It's really good. That's a great, great, great scene. And that singer is so hot.
He's so hot. Oh, my God.
Yeah, with a little bandana around the neck. I don't know. This has gone out of style for the gays, but a few years ago, that's a look that really drives me wild, is like a scruffy man with like a little bandana around his neck. I'm into that look.
I'm very into that look.
So
I like a hunky Bogdanovich, is what I'm saying.
Yes, absolutely. So Hugh Grant was revealed to be the lover of Benoit Blanc in Glass Onion, and presumably, if this becomes a franchise, we'll get lots more of him. I hope.
Yes, he was.
Do you think that Benoit Blanc, aka Daniel Craig, has seen Lair of the White Worm?
Okay, I'm going to take these as two separate individuals.
Okay, great. Best solution possible.
Daniel Craig has probably seen Lair of the White Worm. He's very cine-literate. He's seen a lot of movies. He's a big cinephile. I feel like he probably has, and I think he thinks it's super freaking fun. I feel like he and Rachel Weisz cuddle up on the couch together and watch weird shit like this.
Yeah.
Benoit Blanc, I feel like probably has seen this also. I feel like this is the kind of thing that like he would be in the middle of a very serious like confrontation thing and then like toss out a reference to the Dampton Worm and he'd be like, is that Ken Russell reference?
Yeah, I think that they would both like it, but for different reasons. And I think for Benoit Blanc, it's the costumes. He fabulous costumes or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they would also have very different favorite Ken Russell films. I feel like Daniel Craig would love Altered States and would love Litzomania. No, I take that back. Daniel Craig would love Altered States and Crimes of Passion. I feel like, and maybe Women in Love. I feel like Benoit Blanc would love Litzomania and would love Mahler. He would love the music ones because he is a theater boy at heart, as we've learned from him singing scene in Sondheim and Knives Out.
Yeah. Well, listener, that's it for this episode of Bloodhouse. Thank you so much for listening. You can email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram, bloodhousepod. Drusilla, where can people find you?
I am not on Twitter. You can't find me there even remotely. But you can find me on Instagram at HydeSister, HYDESISTER. My art and my work is over at sisterhydedesign.com, and I'm on Letterboxd. Just search for my name. You'll find me, and you'll find all the weird little shit I've been watching lately. Josh, what about you? Where do you lurk on the interwebs?
I'm at Joshua Conkle on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Now, we have a few special episodes coming up because our 1-year anniversary is fast approaching. However, next week is our 50th episode, which is pretty big too. So, Drusilla, what are we watching for our 50th?
Well, we have gotten so good at summoning gigantic white worms that it might be time that we go back, hone our skills, and try to become better practitioners by watching Robert Eggers' The Witch.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? Cannot wait for that. See you next week. Thank you.